Okay, so listen, it is the anniversary of Long Live ASAP, one of the most celebrated albums in Rocky's discography. Put him onto a whole different level of fame, and you know what? We're gonna have to talk about this. Who had the verse on fucking Problems? Who had the best verse, actually? But before we get into this episode, guys, hit the subscribe button and tell your friends about this. We're trying to connect the world to hip hop, and leave in the comment section who you think had the best verse. So, Lou, I'm taking this back to you, man. Who had the best verse on fucking Problems?
Yeah, I just want to say that it's really admirable that, 8 years later, this is still Rocky's most successful song to date. It's an absolute club banger. And I'll still bump it today, man. I really don't care. No, I don't care how old it is.
Yeah, I know. But listen, I bumped the whole album to this day.
Yeah.
I'm a Rocky fan, and I do think it's still his...
I think it's his weakest album?
I think it's his strongest album.
Oh, okay.
No, that's for sure. It has some of his most iconic hits. It has Goldie, fucking Problems, Angels. There's so many different songs that you go through here. But not only that, but it really set the tone for Rocky in the 2010 decade.
One Train, which is another posse cut aside from fucking Problems, which is amazing.
Yeah, that was crazy. So, Lou, I want to ask you, man, just before we kind of get into this debate, give me a sort of background on the song, and because there's some cool facts to this. I mean, wasn't Drake supposed to use this on Take Care? Like, wasn't that supposed to?
So he was thinking about using it because Drake actually produced the song along with Noah 40 Shabib. And not a lot of people know that actually Drake can, produce beats, but he did produce this one, and he was going to use it, but he felt like it didn't fit on his album. So then he offered it to Kendrick for Kendrick's GKMC. And then Kendrick's like, you know what? I like it, but I don't see it fitting for the narrative of my album either. So then Drake ended up doing Poetic Justice. But Drake wanted to get on another song with Kendrick, so he made Kendrick send in a verse for fucking Problems just because he wanted to prove to Kendrick that he can rap.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Because Kendrick got him on like the softer song of GKMC, but Drake's like, fuck that. I want to show people that I'm able to rap. I'm not this sensitive, R&B type rapper. So anyways, bottom line is that it ended up getting into A$AP Rocky's hands, and it ended up being, one of the most popular posse cuts that we know today.
Okay, so let me get this straight. This was supposed to be on Drake's Take Care. After that, Drake said, fuck it, I'm not going to put it on. Doesn't fit the vibe. I'm going to offer it to Kendrick for GKMC. Kendrick's like, listen, I like the song, but I don't want to hear it on my album. Doesn't fit the vibe. And then that's when he offered it to A$AP Rocky on Long Live ASAP. Wow, that's crazy, man. We always hear those types of stories, right? Like there's a bunch of either if it's a sample or if it's a production, it's a verse, it's a hook, gets passed through so many different people, and then boom, it's the right person, explodes.
And A$AP Rocky calls it the Club Paradise reunion just because Rocky, Kendrick, Drake, and 2 Chainz were all on Drake's Take Care tour back in 2012, which was called the Club Paradise Tour. So it was kind of a reunion of sorts because they all worked together in the past, on that tour. So it was cool to see them come together, I guess.
Okay, so now you just mentioned them 4, so I'm going to ask you a quick question. Out of the 4, who do you think has the best verse on the song?
Yeah, so 2 Chainz was on hook duty, so I'm going to leave him out of this one. So between Rocky, Drake, and Kendrick, it's tough, man. It's really tough because they all did their thing. Rocky came in with that charismatic energy and the usual swagger that he's had, all throughout the 2010s.
But he's kind of have to step aside here because
he has to step aside. It's between Drake and Kendrick, and I'll give it to Drake. I'll say that Drake has the best verse on fucking Problems just because he knew the beat so well and he glides over it. It's some of his best cocky bars, and like I said, he wanted to prove a point that he can rap alongside some big dogs in the industry, and he did just that, and he steals a song for me.
I know. Listen, I don't think he steals the song. I think he keeps up with Kendrick. I think they're almost neck and neck, and it could be a toss-up, but the reason why I'm going to have to give it to Kendrick is just because when Kendrick gets into that sort of cocky mode, it's over for everyone. Not only that, but he had 3 different flow switches on the whole beat, iconic bars. His flow was immaculate, and it was super smooth like butter throughout all 3 of them. So, you know what? Yes, I got to agree with you that Drake's verse was on the level of Kendrick's, but if you have to ask me which one do I prefer, I'm going to have to give it to Kendrick, just because I think at any point, if I have to put a Drake verse or a Kendrick verse and stack them up against each other, I could find some flaws in that Drake verse if I had to really dive deep into it. I can't now because I'm in the middle of a podcast, but getting into that Kendrick verse, just from a technicality standpoint, you switch your flows 3 different times in one verse. That's incredible.
I totally disagree, man. I totally disagree just because Drake even had a slightly longer verse, and he is the selling point of the song. If you take out the Kendrick verse and just play that 2 Chainz hook for a bit longer, the song's still a fucking smash hit. If you take Drake out of the song though, I don't know.
Yeah,
Rocky, Kendrick, and 2 Chainz. I don't know if that's going to be.
Come on, now we're being unfair.
I don't know, man.
We're not talking.
It wouldn't have had the success it did without Drake.
Yeah,
and
but commercial success is obviously on that
but I'm
side.
saying from a technicality standpoint, Drake fucking slid over this beat. He really did, man. I just feel like he was the smoothest rapper on this one.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but because he's the smoothest rapper doesn't necessarily mean it's the best verse, though.
Well, even if you look at the bars, I mean, this wasn't Kendrick's rigor mortis. You know
No,
what
it definitely
I mean?
wasn't a rigor mortis vibe, but it was definitely much better written than it was.
I think Drake bodies him on this. I think he steals the song. Anyways,
No,
look,
we're not gonna
guys, settle this debate for us.
Fuck.
Let us know in the comments down below who you
Sheesh.
think had the better verse.
Kendrick.
And happy anniversary to Long Live ASAP.